Okay, welcome back everyone. I hope you had a great lunch and thank you for all that beautiful work you did before lunch with those incompletions. So, I want everyone to get comfortable. We're going to start off with a bit of a relaxation imagery exercise this afternoon. Now, I know it's not ideal timing. I don't want you to fall asleep, but this is a beautiful integration piece here. So, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and drift into your memories for a time. So, is everyone comfortable? We'll wait till we're all ready. Okay, so our eyes are going to be gently closed, and yet we're very present. Okay? I want you to recall when you were a baby. Recall when you were a baby. Recall when you were a baby. What did people say about you? Okay, now recall when you were 6. Recall when you were 6. Recall when you were 6. What had already happened to you in your life by the age of 6? Okay. Now recall when you were 12. Recall when you were 12. Recall when you were 12. Who were you angry or resentful with, and why? Who were you angry or resentful with, and why? Now recall when you were 18. Recall when you were 18. Recall when you were 18. What did you want to be that you denied yourself or others denied you? Recall when you were 18. What did you want to be that you denied yourself or that didn't work out? Recall when you were 25. Recall when you were 25. Recall when you were 25. What did you say about yourself? What did you say about yourself at 25? Now recall your whole life. Recall your whole life. Who have you hurt and who has hurt you? Recall your whole life. who have you hurt? And who has hurt you? Now, recall where you are now. Recall that you are safe here. Recall that you are here with intention, returning to spirit. I invite you to open your eyes. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to step into our next activity, which is story writing. So based on the incompletions that we worked on this morning and this imagery exercise that we just walked through in our memories, it is now an opportunity for you to write your life story. Here are the instructions. Number 1, we're going to write our life. Not someone else's life, not what we wish our life was, our life. Number 2, you're going to honor your life by writing in complete sentences as a story, not as a poem, as beautiful as that would be, not in point form. We want this as a story. We want it to be fluid. We want you to just write full sentences. Okay? Only you can write your life story. So we want you to work independently on this. We're not writing in groups. We're not talking it through with someone who knows as well. We're just writing by ourselves. Okay? Now, it doesn't have to be in order. It doesn't have to be chronological, and it doesn't have to be every single thing. We want you to write just the pieces that are alive for you, based on everything we're processing today. So, if emotions come up, it's okay. Keep writing. Work through it. Okay? We don't want to get lost in the emotion. We don't want that to shut us down. We want to push through and keep writing. Okay? But there's tissues around if you need. Our resource people will be here, but keep writing. Our goal is to be very present to this journey. Okay? Now, we want you to also focus on the things that are incomplete in your life. Okay? The things that you're incomplete with. Where you're stuck. And we want you to be honest, because this is the gift that you give to yourself. This is, through this presence, we're able to push through it and understand some of the deeper layers of meaning here. Okay? So, write what you're incomplete with, what you're stuck with, what's alive for you as we've been journeying with all of this today. You will write for about 1 hour, okay? And then afterwards, we're going to take a break, and then you're going to share it with one person of your choice, okay? So you can spread out, but stay within, the broader room here, and you've got 1 hour to write your story. If you have any questions, we'll be circulating, okay? Any questions before we go? Okay, you've got your mission. Okay, welcome back everyone. I hope you had a good afternoon break. So, for our next activity, I'm going to give out a series of instructions, and I want you to listen to everything before you start moving, okay? So, here we go. In this next activity, we're going to be working with a partner, but we're going to ask you to choose a partner that is not your partner or your spouse, or is not a very close family member. So we want to invite you to work with someone who doesn't know all the intimate details of your life story, okay? So that's thing number 1. Thing number 2, once you're in your groups of 2, you're going to each read your story out loud to one another. And we're going to repeat this process multiple times, okay? So we want you to keep doing this until we ask you to stop. It's probably going to be about 3 times each person, but we'll see the flow of the room and we'll guide you, okay? When you're reading out, you're going to take your turns, right? So when you're the reader, we're going to ask that you not add or take away any of the contents of your story. We want you to just read the words that you've already written out, okay? So it's not about trying to explain things to the other person, and it's not about hiding any details. We're just going to share this with that one person, okay? If emotion comes up, we're going to ask that you speak through it, that you don't let this emotion stop you from sharing your story, okay? And if you need a couple moments, it's okay to take your time to settle yourself again and then continue on as you're composed. But we really want to invite you to keep speaking through, okay? Now, when your role as the listener, your job is just to hold space as a listener, okay? So you're not there to ask questions. You're not there to comment and say, oh, me too. And like, it's not about resonating with that experience in terms of how you're talking about things. You're just there to listen. And you're not going to do any counseling, okay? None of us here are in a counseling capacity, even though we're going to be hearing a lot about people's lives, okay? We're also going to ask that you not touch the other person. If they get emotional, their body can do its own response, okay? And part of what we do as humans, our comforting gestures can actually stop the body from finalizing its whole processing response, okay? So we're just gonna, you're still compassionate if you're just listening, holding space, okay? All right, so we're gonna do this for 3 times each, and then we're gonna give you your next set of instructions. Are there any questions with that? Okay, awesome. So go and find a partner and find a spot within the room so that you can still hear us, okay, if you need to. Diddle-loo, diddle-loo, they do their sharing. Okay, thanks everyone. We're going to ask you to take a pause for a moment and hear these new instructions. We're going to continue reading our stories out loud to each other, but as you read your story this next time, we're going to ask that you start putting a line through the phrases, the sentences that are already complete for you, okay? So we're going to have you lightly scratch out any of the areas that you don't feel incomplete with, that don't have a hook in you. Okay, so for example, I was born in 1983. I'm pretty complete with that. It's just a fact. So it's important to me because that was the year I was born, but that doesn't mean that I, need to have any strong emotional attachment to that phrase at this time. Okay? So we're going to invite you to do that. It doesn't mean that you're dismissing that. It's still true and part of who you are and your life journey here. But if you're complete with it, then we can eliminate it. We really want to hone in on the pieces that you're not complete with yet, the incompletions. Okay? So we're going to do this 3 more times each with the pieces that are not complete. Okay? Any questions with that? Okay, and go ahead. Diddle-loo, diddle-loo, they do their work. Okay, thank you. We're going to invite you to come on back into the circle here, and we're going to have a group discussion to debrief that experience. Okay. Awesome. So, what did you notice? What did you find? Giving space, giving space. If they need any promptings, which they probably won't by this point in the day, then you can say something like, how did you experience your story? La la la. Or you could say, how did you relate to your partner's story? Blah, 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 whatever they need to process. And now here is our bridge, okay? So, who is it that you are in conversation with the most as you are in your story? Aha, yes, it's you. Yeah. So we're going to go a little bit deeper here in this. I'm going to invite you to grab your notebooks, and we're going to find a clean page here. Okay, and now we're going to look at a little bit more about our story. So what is the conversation that I am always having with myself? And leave some room, fill that in, mull that over, and we're going to also ask, what is it that I'm always listening for? And that could be, what am I listening for within myself? And what am I listening for from others? Okay? So I'm going to ask you to take about 3 minutes and munch on these questions, okay? Okay, awesome. Okay, great. Is there anything that anyone feels they need to share about this? What are you learning from the conversations you're always having with yourself and the things that you're always listening for? Aha, interesting. Okay, great. Yeah, those patterns are the darndest things, eh? And notice how often it's a disempowering narrative, how often we're blaming ourselves, or we're expecting negative things from other people, hey? Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for your sharing, everyone. You've done some really powerful work today, and so we're almost done here. We just have one beautiful thing that is also going to be an integration piece for you for tonight, and that is what we like to call homework. Okay, so here is the deal. Tonight, what we're going to invite you to do is to choose 2 people who have already passed on in your life, who you need to complete something with, and you're going to write them a letter, okay? So you're going to write a letter, and we're going to ask that it be 2 paragraphs long, that is saying everything that you need to say. It's about short and sweet, but the things that you never had a chance to say. But the key is also that we're doing this without blame or shame or making yourself or the other person wrong, okay? So it's not about blaming yourself, but it's also not about blaming them. It's not about shaming them. It's not about carrying shame yourself. And it's not about you being wrong and them being right or vice versa, okay? So these are the criteria. We're going to ask that it be 2 paragraphs for each one, that it's whatever you need to say in order to be complete, okay? It's going to be, if you'd like, using some of the incompletions that came up in your 16 questions earlier this morning, okay? And we're going to write directly to the person. We're not going to write about them. This is us communicating with them, okay? We're going to write again in full sentences. There's a power in that. There's an intentionality in everything that we're doing here. And again, I already mentioned the no blame and shame, but it really bears repeating here because it's actually really hard. We'll notice how often a lot of our apologies, a lot of our hard conversations, this will be a little soft dagger in there, or it'll be something that we're actually internalizing over responsibility for the way things are. Okay, so we're inviting you into empowerment around that relationship. Okay, and then here's the good news. All of this is cumulative. All of this is building. So we are going to have a chance to process what this activity of writing these letters to the 2 people in your life is like for you. Tomorrow you're going to have a chance to share that out with a partner. Okay? Are there any questions with the homework? Okay, well, thank you so much for a beautiful day. You've done a ton of work. You're probably going to be quite tired tonight, so please be gentle with yourself, okay? And, you know, really, really proud of the beautiful sharing that's showing up in this space. Really happy to see the honesty, the vulnerability that's really emerging in this space. And yeah, wishing you a wonderful, gentle night. Okay.